Hi, I'm KS Garner, and you're listening to the Solo Number Podcast. Today, I'll be speaking with cartoonist and illustrator James Demery, here to promote his webcomic Inbolt, currently on Gumroad. Welcome, James.
Great to be here.
Well, outside my introduction, who is James Demery in his own words?
A creative, intelligent, a little insecure, but willing to give things a try.
Uh-huh. Well, what is Inbolt about?
Well, my comic is actually my first official project. It's self-published, so it doesn't have that much notoriety yet. But the basic gist comes from this. Did you ever mess with something you shouldn't have from a place where you really should not have been, and now your life is super crazy and weird? That's the basic tagline for Emble. It's basically an ode to Saturday morning action cartoons, starring this boy with superpowers. His main power is energy manipulation or energy generation, or as I call it, ergokinesis. He often gets involved with the quote unquote super crazy weird side of the world he lives in. And along the way are some of his other friends, Annika, Rocky, Buddy, a shady old grump named Walden Chambers, and a retired investigator named Stanley Wesley. The basic gist of the story of the comics are, well, simple, more like villain or monster of the week.
Mm-hmm.
But it will have reoccurring themes, such as the first issue, the OP Ergo Part 1, features a type of robots menace called the Phobos, and they will be featured quite a lot in the upcoming issues. The other is the defunct Mistech factories, who Mr. Chambers, Walden Chambers, used to run before it all went downhill, and has dozens of facilities all over the world that are pretty much abandoned and up for looting. The cast is the characters is pretty small now, but I actually plan on expanding that a bit as I continue going forward. If you want, I can show you some previews and the page on Gummo where you can purchase it.
Oh, do you have any previews with you right now, like any physical copies or?
I'd have to share screen.
Oh, okay.
Again, I'm still kind of new to share screen, so
Oh, it's
don't be
fine.
surprised if I
If you don't know how to, or if you don't feel comfortable, that's fine with me. I can always just share what you have already up on Gumroad for the viewers or listeners if they want to view it.
Okay, but remember, it's not free.
Oh yeah, I understand it's not free. But can you elaborate on your creative process for Inbolt from just a thought in your head to maybe possibly searching for collaborators if you didn't do almost everything by yourself to now promoting it on Gumroad?
I pretty much do everything by myself. That's probably why it hasn't got much traction yet.
Well, so how was the creative process for you while creating
Well,
Gumroad?
well, to be honest, I get inspired by a lot of anime and sometimes some of the old cartoons I watched as a kid. Sometimes I think of what crazy adventures could I have, or what cliche adventures could I put these kids through. I just imagine it up, and inevitably I end up having to write a script of it. But the script doesn't always stay the same as I'm drawing it on paper. Then I draw it. Once I finish drawing it, I scan it in the computer, then go over it with the photo editing program, Zero Pro, cheaper than Adobe. Then I just put it all together in a single comic. Issues
So
1 through 4 are actually available as a single volume, but since they all took so long to get to a full volume, I decided to make every other issue standalone.
okay, so how difficult was the world building for Imbo, if it even was difficult for you? How did you manage to create a world that is totally your own and integrate your influences in it, but maintain that Imbo is yours in your world and not someone else's?
Wow, that's a deeper question than I expected. But mainly I just end up doing my own thing. Sure. And there are outside influences, as I said before, but mainly just try to go in and have fun. It's not as super deep. I mean, there are some overarching things, reoccurring villains, but I try to have fun with it, and I really do have fun drawing some things. again, going over it and putting it in can be hard at times, but guess nothing worth doing ever is easy.
Yeah. So what you've learned along the way, I guess this is since your first experience in self-publishing your own comic. What advice could you offer to other creators you wish someone would have told you when you first started?
Don't start too late. Too late. One thing I regret is not going at it sooner or trying to make everything else on the side. If you're passionate about it, go for it first.
Okay,
I'd rather
so
not
I'm sorry, go
say that
ahead.
it's kind of personal.
Okay. So throughout this whole process, did you or do you ever get overwhelmed? Like, does it ever become too much? Like, how do you typically manage your mental well-being? I guess, or did you? How did you manage your well-being, your mental well-being, I should say, throughout this whole process? Even now, publishing it on Gumroad.
Hmm. My mental process. I don't think it's taken a hit from this, but hmm, what should I say about this? To be honest, it's actually one of the most relaxing things I've done. Even though it's hard work at times, I just like reimagining adventures for these characters and drawing them out. Sometimes I gotta push myself to get it done. But the hard part is actually marketing it. I haven't gotten that many sales, and so far I've only gotten about $66 in total after taxes.
Okay, so what is your idea of, I guess, success in your eyes for this project? I ask it because as creators, if we're not getting regular paychecks from a full-time job or making consistent revenue from our art, we're considered failures, or we consider ourselves failures. Many of us will put our dreams and projects on a back burner or give them up altogether because this career can be highly intimidating and competitive. So what is your idea of quote unquote success?
Hmm. I'd say having actual fans who love what I've created, to have someone start writing fanfiction about it, to have someone saying, "Oh, that's cool. What a good job. This is awesome." To have someone talking about it with their friends. Success is connected to money, where I can make enough to live off of. But it's not everything, just part of it. What I really want is for people to love what I create. And, and to be honest, the Embold series, it's my first creation, and I've got a lot of ideas for it. So you'll be probably seeing a lot coming down the pipe. If you want to buy a copy yourself,
Mm-hmm. So, is there anything else about Inbolt that I may have missed as a whole, or did you maybe want to discuss what have plans you have for Inbolt down the line?
about down the line, I've got a lot of different ideas, a lot of different themes to go over. Maybe go into the characters' own personal lives. By the way, by the way, just so you know, the main character Nikki, he lives in a place called a youth lodge.
Okay.
It's not an orphanage. It's sort of a weird experimental place that. No, I don't mean superhero experiments. His identity is mostly secret from everyone else. I mean, a place where parents can end up leaving their kids if they move or have some or too busy for them.
So it kind of sounds like a boarding school, or
No,
no?
that's not
Some
as cool.
no, sounds cool. Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, again, I want to thank cartoonist and illustrator James Demery for joining us here today to promote his webcomic Inbolt, currently on Gumroad. I highly recommend our listeners to give James's website a look, share, and buy Inbolt if they can. All of James' socials and comics website will be listed alongside pretty much everything else in the episode's details for those who are interested. Again, I'm Kaya Skarner, and you've been listening to the Solo Nerd Podcast. Thank you.